Hey there guys, I'm back to another game review. Today we're taking a look at Split Fiction on the PlayStation 5. From the developers of It Takes Two, Hazelight Studios have returned with another co-op action adventure. Building upon the previous entry, we now teleport into magical and sci-fi worlds. 3D platforming is the primary focus with a variety of other gameplay styles. The quantity of mechanics is high, but that doesn't stop Split Fiction from providing a quality time. Every new mechanic feels refined and intuitive in its design. Working together to complete challenges and puzzles never felt more satisfying. But is it worth $50? Let's talk about it. I've been following Hazelight Studios from the very beginning with A Way Out in 2018. While it was generic in its gameplay mechanics, the story and co-op required nature made for a fun experience. Following up 3 years later with It Takes Two, a heavier focus on 3D platforming, but a vast amount of mechanics that all work surprisingly well. The game was good enough to win Game of the Year at the Game Awards in 2021. Fast forward to the Game Awards of 2024, and the team announced its next project, Split Fiction, bringing the same co-op 3D platforming gameplay with a split between science fiction and fantasy worlds. The best part about the announcement, the game would launch less than 3 months later on March 6, 2025. After playing for 14 hours, the beefy journey of Split Fiction makes it a super early contender for Game of the Year. The narrative has a slow start but becomes a heartfelt story about two authors writing to remember their loved ones. Gameplay mechanics are the best Hazelight Studios have produced so far. So many challenges and puzzles to face in the main adventure, with plenty more to find in optional stories. A near flawless presentation that's graphically impressive, no bugs or glitches encountered during my playthrough. If you're still on the fence to play Split Fiction with a friend, loved one, or significant other, this is well worth its $50 price tag. Alongside a feature like cross-platform play, it's extremely accessible to enjoy across PC, Xbox Series X/S, and PlayStation 5. The story begins with Mio on the way to sell her story at Radar Publishing. Before going up the elevator, she meets Zoe, another writer about to sell their story. While Zoe's bubbly personality rubs Mio the wrong way, they're joined by other writers selling their stories too. After seeing her peers get placed into the machine, Mio wants to back out of the experience, but the CEO Radar forces her to stay. Getting shoved into Zoe's bubble, Mio convinces Zoe that something is up. Their stories are not getting published, and Radar plans to steal them for whatever high-tech AI generative scheme he has going. The duo must put their differences aside and work together to get out of the machine and stop Radar's plans. We'll jump back and forth between Zoe's fantasy world and Mio's sci-fi world. All of these environments are based on their stories. It makes for some unique environments to visit, especially in the optional stories. As we move further along into the narrative, we slowly learn more about the duo and why they write. Like any duo who have their differences at the start, Mio and Zoe become close friends as we move further along. It's an endearing story that manages to keep our characters grounded while jumping from a medieval town to shooting robots in space. Split Fiction is a sequel to It Takes Two in terms of gameplay mechanics. While the stories are far and away different from each other, the games play eerily similar. Both are co-op required 3D platformers with a variety of gameplay styles. Where Split Fiction outshines It Takes Two is its focus and polish. Traveling between fantasy and sci-fi might sound messy, but there's loads of gameplay styles Split Fiction adds to keep things enticing. At first, levels are rather short and quick, but once we establish hopping between sci-fi and fantasy, levels linger for much longer. Mechanics can be fleshed out more, building on top of one another. There's a heavier emphasis on teamwork where precise platforming and good communication is needed to get through some of these challenges. I love this because when you finally make it to the top or solve the puzzle, it's all the more satisfying. Yes, I did have a couple of heated arguments with my girlfriend over Split Fiction, but it's due to the game's focus. The devs want you to work together closely and get these challenges done, and at times, it requires strong communication and precise jumps. While the game continues to challenge us, checkpoints are plentiful to keep the experience accessible to everyone. Whether you play video games or not, Split Fiction strikes a near perfect balance in its difficulty. Throughout each world, optional side levels will spawn that continue the co-op challenges elsewhere. Each level feels like an idea the devs had in mind for the main adventure, but couldn't flesh them out past a couple of puzzles. Instead of scrapping them, they're bite-sized challenges that are worth playing every single time. On the presentation side, Split Fiction runs buttery smooth on the PlayStation 5. I did not encounter a single bug or glitch during my 14 hours. No frame dips either, making this one of the most polished games I've played in years. I played the game entirely through the PlayStation Network with another PlayStation 5, and not a single hiccup. Unless the other player disconnects or has a spotty internet connection, online play should be flawless. Considering some of the mechanics and visuals the game pulls off in the final hours, Hazelight Studios have truly crafted a technical masterpiece for this console generation. All in all, I can wholeheartedly recommend Split Fiction at $50. Everything from It Takes Two is improved upon tenfold. The game never lets up by introducing new and exciting mechanics for the player. Visually, some of the most impressive stuff I've seen this console generation, especially during the later half of the adventure. The story does take a while to take off, but stands firm with its emotional and character-driven narrative. Split Fiction is easily my pick for Game of the Year right now, and we're only 3 months in. If you have someone in your life that can play this game with you, I implore you to give this game a shot. A 14-hour adventure for $50 is a steal in today's AAA gaming market. I can't wait to see what Hazelight Studios is cooking up next in its pursuit of co-op required experiences. And yeah, that is all I have for today. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you guys have not already, you can subscribe. I put new videos up on Saturdays. Follow me on social media at TV Sonic Gaming. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, pretty much everything. You can also check out my podcast called the Travis and Damien Podcast, to all games, movies, and anime every other week. And yeah, that is all I have for today. Thank you guys for watching this video once again. And I'll see you guys next time with more videos.